Welcome to the Strip Club's Uncensored podcast. I'm DJ Jack. All right, guys, Thanksgiving is over and we are back. I do have another pre-recorded episode I did with the lovely Mel Rice, the founder of Witty Bimbo, which is a sex worker nonprofit organization. We're going to go a little bit more depth into that in this episode. But first, don't forget, guys, the big three: share, like, and subscribe. Because if you do, it makes it easier for you to find every time I put out an episode on YouTube. Like, since I'm not exactly, friendly to children, it's kind of hard for me to spread the word about what I'm doing, guys. So all my information is going to be down below, and so is the lovely Mel Rice's Witty Bimbo information. So, guys, feel free to check out either one. We're going to go more into depth about Witty Bimbo, this particular pre-recorded podcast. And since it was recorded last time we were together, I was using a broken microphone, so I do apologize about that. So, guys, kick back, relax, and check out this episode with the lovely Mel Rice as we talk about more into Witty Bimbo. So here we are back again with another episode with our good friend Mel Rice, a local sex worker.
Hello.
Yo, I was about to lay you out there, but
sorry. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're still new about all this together. She's a local sex worker. She actually runs a nonprofit, and she's a very great real estate agent too. I'm hoping one day when I get my house, you'll help me get my own house. You know what I'm saying? So, Mel, welcome to our community. Say hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Mel has a nonprofit called Witty Bimbo. She started. Now, everybody's got mission statements. We did one in the last podcast, but this one, there are 3 core principles that we're going to be talking about in depth. So, Mel, why don't you take it away?
So we're continuing from last week. We talked a little bit about Witty Bimbo and how I got started. And just to refresh a little bit, my mission statement is to facilitate discussion and space for sex workers to explore healthy coping mechanisms and education. And my 3 core principles with Witty Bimbo are community, healing, and education.
Okay. So everybody hears these kind of things from self-help and all this other stuff. But you're actually not one of these people. You're not like a Tony Robbins, which I always find is the greatest example to give people because honestly, you look at him and you know he's a scumbag. Only people that don't have street knowledge can look at that guy and be like, he's trustworthy.
I don't really know much about Tony Robbins. I know that he's very big. He's cute. He's a big guy. Yeah. And I remember he was in Shallow Hal. That's all I know about Tony Robbins.
Okay, so somebody who had a lot of therapy as a kid.
Okay.
Because this is where your program probably would have helped me as a kid because very ostracized kid because I like to read. I grew up in a very macho part of Texas, and because I like to read, people kick my ass all the time.
People still make fun of me for I read books at work, like at the strip club, and literally people are like, "What are you, a nerd? What are you, just trying to get attention?" I'm like, "No, I like to read."
Hold on, I always like to point this out. How many books do you see over there?
I can't count. I can't even count. There's a lot.
I have a little bit over 400 books.
That's great.
I gave away 600.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I had over 1,000. That thing used to be...
It's a lot of books.
Yeah. Well, and plus you also have the ones on the bottom shelf I haven't read yet. Those are ones I bought that I'm going to read. So, I'm all about reading.
You know, my dad said... one time he said, I think I've done a good job when my kids feel that books are the best way to decorate their home or something like that. He said something like, and I was like, oh, Dad, you did. That's like, cause that's what I have in my house as well. I just keep books out. I organize them by color because it looks cute. Librarians hate that.
I organize them by material because there's one side just nothing but BattleTech and MechWarrior, which is one material.
I mean, that's a proper way to do it. Yeah. I'm just,
even then I get lost because there's some singular books that I like.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're nerds.
Yeah, we are nerds.
And we're always trying to see about enlightenment, self-improvement, not because some idiot with a good smile who's giant and good looking says so, but because we realize it's what we need. And it's a long journey.
It is. It's been a great journey.
What helps is community. So we were talking earlier before we recorded why these particular 3 pillars and why in that order?
Why in that order? So it's community healing education, and I list them specifically in this order because when I think of Witty Bimbo and how I associate myself with Witty Bimbo, the first thing that I think of is this is my community. These are the people that I'm serving. And what am I doing for my community? I'm healing my community. And what am I doing? How am I healing my community? I'm healing my community through education. So that it's in that order as a trickle down. It's my community. What am I doing? I'm healing it. And how am I healing it? I'm educating it.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So these are my principles. And they kind of expand upon themselves as I add more education and more events and opportunities. We're still pretty much in the fledgling state. I just got my website finalized literally today, right before this.
We're going to be getting that information.
Yeah, it's wittybimbo.org, and we've got t-shirts available to buy.
I need a big one.
Yeah. What's a crop top? It'd be like a little, like Winnie the Pooh.
As long as the top part fit, I wouldn't care. Now, the reason why people like us come up with this kind of stuff is because, again, education. We read a lot, and when you read, you want to share ideas with people because honestly, when you read a lot, you have a ton of ideas.
Yeah.
But our community, which is why I always had an uphill battle trying to help people in our community, it's the strip club world. It's the sex community. Because I consider strippers sex workers. I have for a long time, but some people don't see it that way. But I do. And it's our community. So, now, while I am part of the community because I was a stripper DJ, you were a stripper.
Absolutely.
So, could you tell us more about your community and what you would like to apply all this to your community?
So I want to kind of strip away what we know as strippers, so to speak. Strip away what we know about strippers. I think we kind of have this picture in our society of broken women, of daddy issues. But if we go back in time and look at the sex worker historically, these women are seen as sacred. They're seen as healers. Sex can be a healing art. You're using your body to touch and to connect with another human. And that is an absolutely beautiful thing.
Like issues.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many, many, many different forms. And so if I can show my community to see itself as this elevated woman, as this healer, as this sacred whore. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We can really, really bring the empowerment back to the business. And let me tell you something, you make a whole lot more money when you feel empowered and you feel like you're giving someone not just a show, but a true service from your heart center.
And I've always said that there's several different types of strippers. There always have been. But the ones that I think that are most important are those that are actually in the realm of the girlfriend experience. Because they're the ones that get more, they can get more regulars. Yeah. Because there are a lot of guys out there. And did you know there's a statistic out there that says that only 40% of men actually have sex? I mean,
that have sex like on a regular basis or what?
No, that have sex.
So 60% of men are celibate?
No, as in they had sex once, or they get prostitutes if they get up the nerve. But a lot of these guys don't have sex more than beyond a few times. Actually, the truth is, I actually know more than a few guys that have only had sex maybe 4 or 5 times in their lifetime, and a few of them are in their 40s.
I mean, I believe it.
Yes.
But so we're talking incel territory here.
No, it's not that. It's because they don't find themselves. Women don't find them appealing. Women, I find that studies have shown that 80% of women are only attracted to 20% of the men. Because, as one woman says on her YouTube channel, she's like, well, a lot of girls want a guy who's over 6 feet tall. That's like 15% of the population. Then you want him to be good looking, it's like 5% of that. and you want them to have a 6-figure job, it's only 3% of that. And the numbers keep decreasing. But you're talking about a worldwide
the funnel gets
population.
smaller, so to speak. Yeah.
So you have all these women that are fighting over like crumbs of a pie. And so there's a lot of girls.
Not us witty bimbos, honey. We don't fight. We don't fight with each other. We don't fight over crumbs.
There are men out there who want the girlfriend experience, and there are women who provide that. I mean, it's not about sucking or fucking. It's just to give guys a sense of being the center of the world. And not all these women actually know everything they need to know.
It's about comfort. It's about comfort. It's about providing a safe space, even if just for an hour.
And they don't know they're part of the community. That's the weird part. Because even though they provide the service other girls do, they don't feel like they're part of a group. They feel like they're by themselves. They're their one-man team. And they don't realize they have support. Which is why the sense of community is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Community is important for many reasons. It makes us feel stronger in what we're doing. It takes away stigma. For me, community makes me more connected to my job and what I'm doing.
No sense of isolation, which is really the killer for a lot of people, which can lead to addiction.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I would definitely agree that when I felt the most isolated in my life was when I was using the heaviest and suffering the most up. Yeah, that's for sure.
See, aren't you glad you told me all this stuff beforehand?
Yeah. This is like a therapy session.
There you go.
This is very good.
I wanted to be a therapist at one point.
Yeah, I could. Well, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got so depressed in the class, I had to quit. No, my professor goes, look to your right, look to your left, look behind you, look in front of you. Only 1 out of 5 of you will make it to this class. The rest of you will start
They say that in everything.
He was being very honest. He's like, some of you are going to start self-diagnosing yourself before the end of the semester, and you're going to quit. And he's like, that's the biggest issue that all of you are going to have. And as more time goes by, more and more of you are going to start self-diagnosing yourself. Which is, I think, a biggest problem with modern women. They have this idea that, I can go online and I can find the problem. But with this particular type of community, specifically sex work.
Modern women, that we self-diagnose, I think that's just more of everybody self-diagnosis.
You wouldn't believe how many strippers I have met in the last 6 years because of WebMD. Oh my God! I think I'm having a panic attack. I'm having a panic attack. I might have heart problems. I'm like, stop reading that shit on WebMD and go to a doctor. No, you wouldn't believe. A lot of women do it because they think that they can find the answers online. There were girls that would put themselves in a panic attack. Because they went on WebMD to solve what was wrong with them.
I think that's a pretty broad problem and like very typical. And so bringing it back to like Witty Bimbo and why I started was I was suffering from severe panic attacks, and I was basically in fight or flight mode for most of my day for years, and it just wrecked my nervous system. And so I had to learn how to slowly and very carefully soothe my nervous system, and that's how Witty Bimbo got started. So I don't think people are wrong for seeking answers online because anxiety, I think, is at an all-time high since the pandemic. It's become a collective issue, and I do believe that we are part of like a collective consciousness, and it really effed up our collective consciousness. That whole time period fucked with everybody.
Yeah, but when they start going online, they start becoming detached.
Absolutely, 100%. It isolates people. The internet is supposed to connect us, but it somehow isolates. It's this really crazy duality.
Yeah, and sex workers need a sense of community, and most of them don't know if they have it literally by turning to the woman next to them and saying, "How are you?"
And it's how our systems are set up in the clubs, and they're very patriarchal.
No, I think that's what it's like now. As someone who's been doing it for 20 years, there was a lot more people being friendly and open. That's why I said with modern women, they're all focused on the internet. But they don't know they had community because, almost 20 years ago, I saw women being entangled in each other's lives a lot more. And it wasn't just a one little clique. Literally, if you met like Goldie, for example, she would have her own little group of friends, but she would also know this girl, what this girl is doing, and there was a sense of community. Even if they didn't all hang out, they all knew about each other's lives. They would talk to each other. They would deep dive and have fun together.
The industry was a little tighter.
Yeah,
I could see that. I've been in the industry for 12 years. And it seems more accessible to people now because of the internet, and young girls are like really interested. Which is good because the stigma is going away, but then that loosens up the industry, the community.
Yeah, they don't realize they have a community, but now that they're learning they do have a community, where does the healing part come from?
The healing has become my entire purpose in life since I got sober, and understanding that my nervous system, in order for me to have a good life and live fully and happily every single day, I had to soothe my nervous system or I wasn't going to make it, basically. And so I started that healing journey, but I also realized I didn't want to live without sex work. And in kind of diving into that and why I was so interested in sex work, I realized that there is such a thing as a sacred slut, or the sacred whore, as we talked about before, and that there's a deeper reason why I'm interested in this. And it's not just because of trauma, but it's because it can be used, sex can be used as a tool to heal other people and to heal our own trauma. And it's extremely important to me. And it's opened me up to so many possibilities and happiness. And if I can share that with other sex workers and make them kind of see themselves as these healers, as these goddesses, as these sacred women, the whole industry is going to change. And I believe it.
So not just self-healing, but healing other people.
There's a reason that we are there as the workers, but there's also a reason that people come to us. And it may seem surface and they're like, oh, they're just trying to get entertainment, or they're just trying to get their rocks off or whatever.
That's why I brought up the girlfriend experience at the beginning, because there's just a lot of lonely people out there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been there. And
of course, we all have.
Yeah, it's the best part of the week was literally just having someone who listened, who act, sometimes they don't care, but they do act like they do care. And there's some people that genuinely did care. And I became friends with these people. Yeah. And some of them actually dated.
Right.
But it doesn't always happen. Just so you're clear. We're not teen shit. But I'm just saying, sometimes having someone who can listen to you, even if you're paying for their time, is the best kind of therapy. And sometimes having someone sometimes the sex worker, the stripper, and sometimes just being there for someone makes them feel better.
Yeah, I mean, there's sexual healing is a real thing. I believe in sometimes you don't need words to communicate. Your touch will communicate. You can put someone at ease by relaxing their nervous system and bringing them pleasure. And sexual pleasure is an ecstatic pleasure, but it also can soothe your nervous system. It lets out a lot of nervous energy and can be very beneficial when combined with a good relationship with someone, whether you're paying them or not. It can be a wonderful, wonderful experience for both parties to grow from. I don't know what I was going to say. Where was I going with that? So there's the surface reasons that people seek sex work as a customer, but then there's something deeper. And I really, really do believe that people are led there because they need some healing. And they come back definitely for that healing. A lot of us have regular customers. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we didn't have our regulars every week. That's
true.
Yeah, I make sure that every new customer that I meet, if they're spending more than $100, they are coming back. You know what I mean? So I try to make it a healing experience for everyone involved, including myself. Yeah.
So do customers help heal you?
Yeah, absolutely.
In what way?
In their conversation, I learn so much from people just from talking to them. I learn about myself from the way that I interact and the way that I use my body differently for different people, and how chemistry affects, my mood or what I'm doing. It's just a curious thing, and I learn so much every day. Because every person is different, so your interaction's always going to be different.
Do you see other sex workers going through what you're talking about?
I do notice now that I'm more aware, definitely sober, obviously, but also just I'm in a more aware state as a human. I do notice girls who are tapped in, what I think are tapped into the same energy and are definitely really enjoying themselves at work and are really in the goddess energy and the healing energy. Yeah. And then there are some who are like, just kind of banging it out, so to speak. not literally, but sometimes literally, but they're like obviously thinking about their grocery list while they're like giving this guy a lap dance or whatever. And that's okay too, because we all got bills to pay, and sometimes we just happen to be sex workers, and it doesn't serve us all the time, and that's okay.
So through Witty Bimbo, women can find community, healing, and education is the last one. So what about your program brings education to people?
So I have been offering different classes. First, initially we just had meetups, like meet up and everybody meditate and learn about what meditation is. And then I started doing the financial literacy and just learning about what is equity, what is credit, like really basic stuff. And since then, we are going to be branching out to whatever classes people really suggest. I'm really open to suggestions because I have the funding to pay a teacher to do a group class.
You might want to have someone look into like repairing your credit.
Yes, so I did one of those. I have my finance affiliate that I work with in real estate, my loan officer that I work with, do a class, and it went so well. So we have so many more of those. So financial literacy is really at the top for me because it's really, really, really important to give a woman a sense of freedom and autonomy and
okay,
go ahead.
So why freedom and why autonomy?
Because if you feel confident that your money is working for you and that one day you'll be able to rest, you can kind of enjoy your life and take care of your children in a more present way instead of being concerned. There's always going to be a little bit of stress if you are worried about money. I'm not speaking clearly right now, sorry.
Not so much worried about money, I always say this, and it's just me though. And people are all like, well, I have a daily goal. I'm like, don't have a daily goal. I always said having a daily goal when it comes to the strip club game is a bad idea. Because if you have one bad day, and especially at the beginning of your work week, that will affect the rest of your week.
Yeah.
Weekly goals are always the best way.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because if you say, let's just throw a number out there, $1,000, right? And you work 4 days. And you overshoot that particular goal, you don't move the goalposts, you keep it where it's at. Because the next week you might work 3 days, have the shittiest days of your week. But you're like, I didn't even come close to $1,000. Well, you don't move the goalpost back, you don't move it forward, you keep it there to focus on the fact that last week I hit $2,000.
Yeah.
This week I only hit $400. But the next week you hit over $1,000 again.
Yeah.
You want to be able to push yourself to hit that minimum and understanding basically when you don't.
Yeah, so I set monthly goals and then obviously break that up into weekly goals. I work a little bit more than most because I love working so much. I should step off it a little bit and only work 4 days a week so I could get other work done. But at this time I'm working 5 days a week. I would suggest, it's good to go into work with a goal, but not to rest your happiness on that goal. It is never going to be beneficial for you to rest your happiness on a goal, especially a financial goal for the day, because then you just limit your possibilities of enjoyment and your possibilities to other gifts that could be coming.
Yeah, because if you meet a new regular and you only made $200, but you didn't make any other money for the rest of the day, focus on the fact that you made a new
regular
income. And that's very important.
And that,
some of them don't focus on that.
And some people are like, $200, that's nothing. But if that regular comes to see you every week, that is $800 a month. Exactly. That's a lot of money to a lot of people. That is like probably half your rent or something like that. Or your whole rent, I would hope, but not me.
How would you explain to somebody who's just hearing about Witty Bimbo right now? And while they might understand community and while they might understand why they need some healing, how can you tell people that education is the most important thing? And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's always somebody that says that, well, you can't tell me how to make money because I've been making money. So how would you tell someone that these educational classes are extremely important?
I would first describe, I'm not presenting anything as I know more than you and so let me teach you. I am learning alongside everybody that's participating in Witty Bimbo. I really believe that education is the key to personal development and progress. And when we offer free training in all these different disciplines, the individuals can pursue their self-improvement on their own terms. So when we have education available to people at their own will, this allows sex work to see itself as a community and a collective of entrepreneurs, and we can serve as resources for each other. So if we come together to educate together, we can also become resources for each other. And that's why education is so important.
I've always said, I specifically tell my nephew when he asked me, like, why am I reading? He asked me why I'm reading for school. And I said, no, because I like reading. And I told him and my niece, because she caught me watching some history podcast. And I was like, well, did you know who Mary Anning is? And she's like, no. She's the woman that started off making dinosaur skeletons that you see in a museum. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was like, did you? I was like, yeah, Mary Anning. You ever heard that old nursery rhyme? She sells by the she store. Yeah. She's the one. She actually found the first, I think it was alligator, a prehistoric model, when she was out hunting for seashells.
Aww.
Yeah, and I told her about that. I told her about Madame Curie. I told her about Jen Yatso. She's the first ever pirate queen from China. She had 60,000 pirates under her command.
Holy cow.
Yeah, she had an army. And my niece actually started watching these episodes with me. And I've always said education is very important because if you stop learning, what's the point? And I feel that this particular program is actually very important because, as I said, there's a lot of girls that don't, while they think that they know how to apply their money, a lot of girls don't know jack shit about business.
Right. And that goes back to me saying that like a lot of us don't come from privilege, or we had to jump right into making a lot of money because maybe we had kids or
don't want to learn. But I think that you, with your program, first talking about community, because you're not talking about money. You're talking about community and giving people a support system, and then understanding that there is a healing for the anxiety. You don't have to fucking go home blackout drunk, or you don't have to, obviously some people smoke weed, some people drink. Some people take Molly at the club. Anyway,
I've done that in my day, yes.
Yes, the worst one I ever saw, and I say that because literally she had to freak out. Was one girl did acid at Sugars about 8 years ago.
Was it me? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was a girl named Callie.
I'm sure I've done that before.
One of the many girls who called herself Callie. We know that because she was the only one that stood out because she had purple hair. But she's gone. She went back to Canada.
Not Callie? She didn't go back to Cali?
No. It was actually, those were initials. But anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, so she went back to Canada.
Canada.
She did not have a community. As far as she was concerned, and I know this for a fact, she just told me more than once, I don't trust nobody, blah, blah, blah. She obviously had a lot of anxiety. She had no sense of community, and she had no way to apply her money. Yeah,
and that tough girl stripper attitude that a lot of us embody, it really just comes from living kind of in fear and having anxiety and be like, I had to face the world like that every day too for a long, long, long time. And so when we do see each other as a collective and a community, we kind of put those guards down, and that fear goes away, and we can be open to being educated as well.
Yeah, and if you have all of these things, there's actually a good chance that you can actually become something more than what you are. Because,
absolutely.
And I say that because I've known women who had, keyword had, to keep stripping until they were 50.
Yeah.
And then I've known women who do it because, hey, you know what? I've got a new business venture coming. I'm going to start stripping, and I'm going to make some money because I need capital.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with either of those. So, yeah. I mean, stripping until you're 50, obviously no one when they're...
They had to. They didn't save anything and didn't learn anything. As far as they were concerned, it was them against the world. And just put them out there. But
and by that time, I mean, the goal would be to have your money start working for you so that when you're 50, you're not overcome with anxiety about what the F you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. But I've met millionaire strippers, which is why I always tell people,
absolutely, 100%.
Huh?
Yeah.
You met them, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
People always think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, because they understood how...
Buy that real estate.
No, so I knew one girl that's husband rebuilt classic cars. And one girl bought jewelry from Mexico at cheap prices, come over here and sell it to gringos. Literally, that's what she said. She would buy like turquoise in silver, and she would resell it at a marked up value.
That's cool.
And you know, there's a woman that literally who lives in the Rio Grande Valley. She bought a beauty shop and she bought a tire shop. Her husband runs one, and she runs the other, and they have plenty of cash. And I know a girl that bought a bar. Not like a big bar where everybody's like, oh, I want to buy a bar if it's like 400 people. No, she bought a neighborhood bar. Yeah. And it was like 60 people a night. She's like, I have plenty of people coming in. I have plenty of money, and I don't want for anything. And it can be achieved because you don't know how. I'm pretty sure you know a lot of women who actually got college degrees. Yeah. I've met lawyers, police officers. I even know more than one sex therapist. Even one doctor, an actual doctor, like a general practitioner, not like a Grey's Anatomy surgeon. But they've done all these things because they understood that they had support. They were perfectly fine doing what they're doing, and they had their financial future set up for. And I think this is like I said, I think Witty Bimbo is a great idea.
Thank you.
To get that out there.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, in other professions, they have all of these handed to them. So the ultimate goal, along with, having my own club or Witty Bimbo being its own club, would be to serve as these resources for insurance, therapy, and then obviously financial planning in the future. So we would be able to serve as a resource for those things, because I talk to friends who are pilots and doctors and teachers, and with that job comes all of these resources. It's just a no-brainer. But if someone chooses to be a sex worker, there is no reason that they shouldn't have this available to them as well.
And what some people don't realize, to me, the reason why I want to do this and actually spread the word is because this is like the first thing I've ever heard that actually supports sex workers. They have if people who watch stuff online realize that some people see the cutthroat world that they have, where can girls who start fighting with other can girls, porn stars who start fighting with other porn stars, all of them are an island. The reality is that if you work in the sex industry, you're not an island, you're part of the whole world. But people don't know that, and spreading the word is the first thing we can do to actually make sure that these women don't feel that they're isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all in this together, and it's such a beautiful thing. Being a sex worker, you really, really share an intimate bond because you do an intimate job. And so, to have a sister in that intimacy who knows what the fuck is up is something that we should cherish. It's something that we should nurture. And that's why community is a core pillar at Witty Bimbo.
The first step.
The first step. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a great principle to start off on. Because, again, like I always say, she will know. You will know. how many times women felt isolated, but there are so many stories I have when people weren't isolated. They had people backing their play who watched their ass, who kept them going, who pulled them up. But a lot of the girls nowadays, because I would say it's the internet, Instagram, and Snapchat just seem to isolate everybody.
I know, it's so odd.
But it is odd, because if you make someone feel as if they're the center of the world, that translates into everything that they do. And I feel that that's the biggest problem with modern women nowadays. And I say that, no. And I say that because I watch programs about how some women are just not happy anymore. They feel isolated. They always got that, oh, well, you can't tell me what to do mentality. When the reality is that if you do it by yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. Like, the quarterback can't do shit with the rest of the football team.
Okay. Yeah. I do believe that, like, this unbridled individualism that is promoted by social media and everything, it's just an ego extender. And if we just are feeling our egos forever, we're not going to realize that we are a part of a collective. And that, and to see yourself as separate from other humans is really, really unhealthy. And you won't work for the common good if you just see yourself as this, like,
you won't work for your own
island. Exactly. Because if I'm working for the good of myself, that's for the good of humankind, honestly.
And you feel alone, and you're gonna burn the candle at both ends, and it usually leads with alcohol.
Yeah, it cultivates depression and anger, and
So if you're listening and you've learned about Witty Bimbo, which we're gonna advertise a lot of that, honestly.
Yeah.
I have to understand this. So if you're a stripper, or you just started, or you're thinking about it, this might be something you might want to look into, because honestly, having a community that you can talk to. You said you have a website?
Yeah, it's wittybimbo.org. So that would be WITTYBIMBO.org.
I'm dyslexic, so I have to use
that was a little difficult for me, I'm not even going to lie.
We're going to have that information down below. And all that.
And on Instagram, I'm always on there. So if you want to send me a direct message, I'm more than happy to respond. My Instagram is witty_bimbo.
I'll also put that down.
We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. We're the only Witty Bimbo out there. So just put that in the search bar and you'll find it as well.
There you go.
Yay! This is really fun, Jack.
I'm glad you like it. Honestly, it's one of the things I always want to do. Honestly, I started telling stories because I thought it would be a good idea to get people in. But this is the kind of thing that I wanted, because there were so many lessons I think people could learn. And honestly, I think Witty Bimbo is the best way to go for people who are beginning and want to learn more.
Absolutely.
So this is bringing the end of it, guys.
Yay!
I will get all this information down. We will have more Mel Rice. And again, if you're in the Austin area looking for a home, she can help you out.
But I have colleagues that can. Okay. That's a long story.
She can point you the right way.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
There you go, guys. That's another episode of Strip Club's Uncensored Podcast. Again, I always said there's amazing people there. And now we have another one who started her own non-profit organization, Mel Rice with Witty Bimbo.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Strip Club's Uncensored Podcast. I was DJ Jack, and I was recording today with the lovely Mel Rice. All right, guys. If you're more interested in hearing more about Witty Bimbo, guys, don't forget all the information is going to be down below, and also my information as well. That's right, guys. So please don't forget, hit me up on Instagram, shoot me an email. I read everything that people send me, so don't be shy. All right, guys. Don't forget, man. Witty Bimbo is a great nonprofit organization for sex workers. So if you know somebody that's in the strip club game, please shoot them this information. It might help them out. All right, guys. Till next time, I promise the next podcast will not be pre-recorded. So I will not be using that broken microphone. All right, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.